Hello and welcome to the TPN YouTube channel. I am in studio today with Michelle Dickens, our Managing Director, talking to you a little bit about our investor reports as well as what's currently busy happening in the marketplace. TPN's got something called a good standing ratio, and a good standing ratio is tenants that either make payment on time and in full, within a grace period, or paid late. So tenants that actually pay rental before the end of the month. Usually we see a good standing ratio across the industry of around about 81%. During April, as we all know, we saw quite a big deterioration to 75%, and during the month of May, we're currently actually sitting at 63% good standing. This may deteriorate even further, but to talk to you about that specifically with the investor reports and how that data gets pulled through is Michelle here today. Michelle, I believe we've got 21 towns in South Africa actually collecting rental above 80%.
Fantastic, Peter. So excited to showcase the 21 towns. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take us into the investor report that TPN creates, but specifically on the top performing town in the country. So in this particular town, what we have is 6,414 properties. Of those, 4,400 are rented, which makes up 68% of the properties within this particular area. The data that I'm going to show you now on the investor report all links through to the Stats SA data. So we're talking about property size. And here in the property size, we differentiate between owner-occupied properties and rented occupied properties. So investors can make decisions based on the type of properties that are available for tenants within this particular town. We look at household size. So what is the average size of number of occupants within the properties, both owner-occupied as well as rented or tenanted properties. Stats SA data also looks at population group, it looks at language and education. We look at the head of household age, so how old is the head of the household, gives us some demographic information regarding employment status, and of course, annual household income. Next, we're going to look at TPN data from the deeds data. So here we're looking at property transactions. And in the property transactions, we've split the data both between sectional title properties and full title properties. We're getting an understanding of how many properties by number are being transacted on a per year basis annually. And we can see it's about 300 sectional title properties are sold within this particular town during the 2019 period. And you can see the average price shot up to 1.5 million and has deteriorated slightly in the last year. And we do the same for full title. So looking at the number of properties transacted as well as the average selling price of full title properties in this particular town. We also look at investment properties. How many properties in this town are second owned properties? So TPN has a look at the entire deeds database, and we determine what are owner-occupied properties and what are properties that are occupied by tenants or potentially even holiday home properties. And you can see nearly 68% of properties in this particular town are tenanted properties. So this is quite an investment town. Has anyone got any guesses yet where we're at? There's a little map as a guide. We're going to look at the good standing ratio. Now this is TPN's good standing on tenant payment behavior, how tenants are paying in this particular town. And as Peter mentioned earlier, our good standing ratio are tenants that are paid up by the end of the month. That is made up of tenants who are paid on time and in full, tenants who are paid in the grace period, and tenants who are paid late, but effectively paid up by the end of the month. You can see the green line over here. This is an indication of the national good standing ratio. And as Peter said, at the moment, that sits at around about 81.5%. Although there was that slight deterioration nationally in April and again in May. So this town, to showcase the best performing town in South Africa at the moment, this town has a good standing ratio of 96.7% leading into the lockdown period. So this is in quarter one. 96.7% of tenants in Q1 were in good standing against the national of 81.7%. Coming into lockdown in April and May, this town managed to secure their good standing ratio at 92%. So a slight drop off, but nowhere near the 75% in April for national or 63% that's currently been recorded in May. We split that up between paid on time, so 88.8% of tenants in this town pay on time and in full, 2.95% pay grace, 5% pay late, 2% pay partially, and only 1% in the did not pay category. And of course, you can look against the province and against the national stats. TPN also does the residential yield, both on sectional title properties as well as on full title properties. And here we're looking at what is the yield that can be expected if you were to own a rented property within this particular town. We look at rent price trends. Again, sectional title versus freehold properties. We look at the average price that rents are trading at, the low and the maximum prices, and then we showcase that to you against the number of bedrooms. So a smaller than 2 bedroom, a 2 bedroom, and a bigger than 2 bedroom, and we look at the average price, the maximum price, the low price of what you can expect, and we do that over a 3-year period. So you can see some sort of trend analysis to determine if prices are going up or down in your area. And of course, lastly, we do the rental price distribution, both on the freehold properties as well as on the sectional title properties, and a rental price index. A lot of information, Peter, but really what I wanted to showcase was the best performing town in South Africa for rent collection for the lockdown period.
And please tell us what that town is, Michelle.
I'm sure everyone's curious. Drum rolls, please. So the best performing town in South Africa during the lockdown period was Stellenbosch.
Michelle, obviously because you've drawn this data as well, I believe you've got a sheet in front of you telling us what the top 21 towns in South Africa was with regards to their good standing ratios during the lockdown period.
So 21 is a bizarre number to do it on, right? So the reason we've done the top 21 is these are the towns that have achieved over 80% good standing ratio for collections for the lockdown period. And let me run through them. At the top, we've got Stellenbosch at 93%. Then we've got Grahamstown at 89%. We've got Elysium, Durbanville, Verulam, Wellington, Evander, Randval, Sasolburg, Lephalale, Bella Bella, Bethelsdorp, Centurion, Brackenfell, Robertson, Worcester, Heidelberg, Scottsboro South, Melkbos-Strand, Somerset West, and finally in the Eastern Cape we've got Port Elizabeth.
Oh, lovely. Thank you very much for that fantastic information, Michelle. Michelle, just in closing, how do our clients access these investor reports from our systems?
So the best way to go and access your own investor reports on the town or the suburb or the city where your properties are, or even if you want to understand what a different town or city is performing, log on to TPN Shop. That is shop.tpn.co.za. You can either register and log in. If you've got your TPN username and password, that'll work. Alternatively, you can purchase the reports using your credit cards. So once you've accessed the TPN Shop, click on Generate Report. There's a drop down. Today I'm showcasing the investor reports. Once we're on the investor report, you can select, do you want to look at a suburb level, a city level? This is what I did for Stellenbosch, a municipal, district, or provincial level. If we were to do a suburb level, and we would type in Stellenbosch, the map will display the area that we have selected. I can open the map up a little bit more, and I can create my own area by selecting additional smaller regions to make up a bigger region, or I can say that's a little bit much. That's the area that I want to have a look at, and I simply click Generate Report, Peter.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Michelle. Have a fantastic day all. Thank you.